Up like we in the club, fly flashy, grown classy, still turn it dub. Saturday mornings, no walk of shame, we fresh up. 950 lounge, that's my guilty pleasure. I don't miss my favorite show, I put everything on hold. Work the baby, even the babysitter no. When 950 come on, don't bother. I'm locked in 10 to 1, no problem. Turn on the radio. You in the house, turn on the radio. Yeah.
To my left is a young lady that doesn't need any introduction. If you grew up in New York and used to rock at Bentleys, if you grew up and went to the Tunnel, if you went to Savage, if you went to the, and I'm showing my age, but that's quite all right.
You said
that's quite all right.
I'm just looking at his face.
You know who this woman is. She's in her own lane now, doing some amazing things with her own music, and got the family involved. Ladies and gentlemen, getting up real early for us this morning, the lovely, super talented Kima. What's going on?
She made us know 5 a.m.
Yeah, we good, we good. Good morning, honey. How are you?
I'm good. Good and tired. Like, nah, I'm
what
good.
You smiling?
I'm glad, because I'm really glad to be here.
I was trying to get Carlos the parking spot, but nope.
No, it's all
I didn't want to smash cars and get arrested, and I couldn't do the interview.
He would have had guy Uber, but he ain't drive anyway.
He tried it.
No doubt, and respect. But again, thanks for coming up this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You are doing some amazing things and had an amazing career and continues.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, I know some of those people. I think you guys performed at Bentley's years ago. But talk about just the journey of music. You're going in, I think you've been doing this now over 20.
Yeah, 20-something years. Yeah. I took a little break. You know, there was a time where I was not doing music.
Right.
But I'm back.
No doubt.
And, I'm not going to stop this time.
So, of course. Talk about the early years. A lot of people, we have, like I said, I have people that knew me when I was me and Rodeo, we were kids, and they used to sing, and they started singing in church, and obviously church put pretty little to going into a Korean music. When did the origins know when Kima felt like, this is something I obviously enjoy, but this is something that I believe I can do for a living?
Actually, when I was doing it, because honestly, like I grew up singing, but like I told somebody, like growing up, life wasn't like, a box of chocolate for me. My dad was sick, my mom, she had to take care of us. So I wasn't the type that daydreamed a lot. You know what I'm saying? I really dealt with my reality. So I knew, going out of school, I was going to get a job.
Right.
And I was going to help my mother. You know what I'm saying? So, and whatever road God took me on, I just prayed for those things to be successful and be able to help better my mother's life.
So the dreams and thoughts of you were very modest in your early years. You just listen, I just want to be productive, want to help my family and grow.
Right.
So when when the group came together.
The group came together. I was live in the car, and when we passed that Major Deegan sign, actually the group came together. Keisha and I went to high school together. And we became friends. She heard me sing. Now Keisha always was like, she dreamed big, and then, and her dreams came true. She actually heard our dreams came true. They became one, you know what I'm saying? So she heard me sing, and she was like, she wanted to start a group. So we actually started the group, her and I, in my basement.
Like most major companies start in the basement.
And this is when Mary first dropped Real Love. And that used to be our song. We used to sit down there practicing it. And we met some guys from the Bronx, and they told us about Kathy. Kathy was Puffy's godson mother, Kathy Dukes. And we passed the Major Deegan because that's how we used to get up to Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon, yeah.
And I saw that sign and I was just like, I remember getting off at this exit, going to Mount Vernon.
The black
back
man's
in the
come up.
days.
That's where all the number runners moved to Mount Vernon.
Yep, where you had no Waze, no OnStar, no nothing, a piece of paper. And we got there, we made it to Mount Vernon, but we couldn't get to Kathy house. So we saw these guys on the corner, and this is just how, divine sometimes your destiny is.
Yeah.
When we pull up on these guys, it's heavy these dancers.
Wow.
And we like, do y'all know Kathy? They like, yeah, we know her. They get in the car and they take us right to her house. And lo and behold, she took us to meet Puffy. Puffy was working with Jodeci in the studio. And Kathy, she's your typical she was rah. As soon as this elevator open, y'all just better be all on him. So we performed for Puffy. He was looking at us like, these girls is crazy. But he did like us. He called her like 5:00 that morning, and he offered to sign us. He kept his promise, because originally this is when he was with Uptown.
Right.
And at that time, I don't even think he had Big at that time, but
Andre Harrell.
Puffy was doing at that time. I'm showing my age again. He was doing Red Zone Wednesdays.
And then
and again, it would be Wednesday nights. When I was in college, you go to the Red Zone, and every Wednesday I had a little bit more hair, and thank God, because every Wednesday
that's a little bit. Yeah.
And then when you're young and dumb, you just I didn't get shot this week. I'll just go back next week. But that was when he was doing the party thing.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. Back then, we used to have to, it was mandatory to go out to parties. And the meetup time was 11. They were like, if y'all not here by 11, y'all better figure out a way y'all can get in. So we really just learned how to hustle and grind from Kathy, because she was like, y'all better be in this party. And we would get in that party. We would say whatever we needed to say to get up in there.
Y'all could have had Justin. He could have been the male correspondent, because he loved parties. He definitely would have been.
As long as you have some Hennessy,
at
disposal.
But partying ain't the same. I mean, we party. We party. You would go in looking one way and come out hair all sweated, all types. We partied. We had a lot of fun.
No doubt. Backstage, usually you chomping there.
No, I'm just listening to the stories and everything else, because it's always amazing how far you come up from what you see when you started to what you are now. Now the thing was, how was it for you when you first was able to go overseas and get to see other countries and stuff like that?
Japan.
Konnichiwa.
Japan love total. I'll never forget. We went to Japan. We went there twice. The second time we went after the show, we're in the McDonald's, and then all of a sudden this crowd comes together, and they have to barricade us in there, and it's just we're oh my God, we felt like Michael Jackson over in Japan. Japan really loved total. They actually loved our culture. It was the first time they've been had retro sneakers. They're over there trying to get afros and stuff like that. So I mean,
me too.
Japan was really one of the countries we did visit where we really felt the effects of how much fans really loved us.
When did you know that you was actually recording stars? It had to be a moment.
When Juicy came on. Everybody don't know
that's the
Total should be featured on Juicy, but when Juicy came on the radio, I remember I had just got back from Bermuda visiting my family, and my mother picked me and my sister up from the airport, and it came on the radio, and that was my first time hearing myself on the radio. It was on Juicy. Rest in peace, Biggie. Keisha and I learned a big lesson going in and just getting on tracks, because although Biggie made sure we were good, we didn't get the credit, and which right now we feel like that needs to change, but it will.
Let's dive into that, because obviously we're talking about the pageantry and all that, but there's a business side
to
this music side that sometimes is not always appealing, or sometimes not always something that we enjoy.
Right.
Talk about that. Now, from that standpoint, you didn't get the credit. You guys put some amazing hits together, I mean, they still bounce in the can.
Right.
When it comes to the business of music, and a lot of people who listen to our shows, and I know somebody in this room has even dealt with that. Talk about that aspect where people should know what's going on from a points perspective, from royalties perspective, and how to be more prepared?
Right. You definitely just don't go in the studio getting on a record without making sure, your split sheets and everything is in order. Like I said, Big did make sure we got paid, but at that time we were young and we didn't really like fight for it. And now we're like, hey, we're not featured on Big. We're not featured on it. So it's something we're gonna see if we can rectify now. But you just definitely don't go in the studio giving your voice without making sure you're gonna get your due credit. It's not just about the money, because as we see, that song is still big to this day, and it doesn't say featuring Total or featuring Kima and Pam, and a lot of people don't know, but that's us. And we're also on the original One More Chance song.
Right. Exactly, and that's the same issue with royalties with that as well.
Right.
Who do you? Is it? I mean, is it somebody that you point at and blame? Is it just because you say, well, we were just young and living the moment?
Well,
is it
I like to say I am the captain of my own shit.
Right.
I blame us, because we could have been fought for it. We could have been sat down with Puffy and talked about this. And I'm sure it's that simple. But we just haven't. And now it's kind of like hitting us. And then I think a lot of times it's just like, we love Big. We would have did anything for Big, as well as him doing anything for us. And at that time, he did make sure we got paid.
Right.
And we just didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it until like now.
Yeah, no doubt.
When we did exactly what Puff vision was, to make them records that will stand the test of time. And now we're like, but that's why I would say you don't go in the studio. You don't make sure that you make sure your business is taken care of. You do those split sheets.
Without question. Now, obviously you have your family here. It's beautiful. And again, I've been chopping up with your husband since I met you. And a big shout to Mike, the moderator. You came a little early, and we were doing that interview, and so I had the opportunity to get to know you guys a little bit. But you took a break. Mother, wife, family duties. What brought you back? What was the calling back? Because life was going well, everything is going good, blessings, and something had to. Well, maybe we're not done yet with this microphone.
I had always felt like that. Like there was always, God had always gave me the inclination that it was just not done. Because I would just like I would call them nightmares, because when you can't control something and you want something so bad and you can't control it and you're steady like going for it, it becomes a nightmare. So it was at one point where I was just like, I called the girls and I was just like, hey, now's the perfect time for us to just tour, make our money, pay, finally get what we deserve, what we put all that hard work in for. And, it was always a no, we don't want to do Total, we don't want to do this. And I remember going to Faith's show one night in DC, and I hadn't reached out to Faith in a while. She was like, come to this show. And I was just like, remember saying to her, I missed this.
Right.
And next thing I know, a couple of years later, Pam called me and she asked me, a promoter wanted us to do a show in London. Keisha had declined, but I said, he said he'll take the two of us. And I was like, okay, let's do it.
Was that with R. Kelly? Is that the R. Kelly tour?
No, it wasn't the R. Kelly tour. It actually, who did we do that show with? I think it was Joe. Men Condition, Tony Tone, what was the other group? Changing Faces, Teddy Riley, Blackstreet. So Pam and I went and did the show, and of course I'm like thinking it, it's just gonna be a one deal thing, because at that time Pam was working on her solo career, and I was just like, of course I'll do it. I was just like, anything I can do to support you, but still in the back of my mind, like, you know what? Maybe this is the beginning of something. So I was definitely open to doing it. And it was the beginning of something. Pam and I came back from overseas. The show was crazy. Her and I did a lot of shows together. And then, Keisha came back for the Bad Boy tour.
No doubt.
And those was definitely the visions that God gave me. Like, I knew the three of us was going to get on that stage together one day, So we did it. We did it. I mean, that tour was amazing. It was everything for everybody, everybody.
Can you still hit that high note?
Not right now.
Don't do that now, please.
How was that Bad Boy tour with everybody together? After what's that, 10, maybe 15 years? You got everybody back together. How was that, seeing the whole family back again?
it was amazing, and I'm like, it was just, and it was so authentic and so pure. I know everybody just came back just for the love. Like, I mean, we cried, we had fun, and actually, it was just like we never even went anywhere. It was like we just all popped back up in this space, and everything just flowed. And when I tell people, we only rehearsed for that tour for like 2 days.
Wow.
And just talk about the bad boy, you know, you lost Craig Mack.
Yes,
you
Craig
know.
Mack. May
Rest in
Craig
peace.
Mack
No
rest in
doubt.
peace.
Mhm.
You know, if it wasn't for Craig, you know, Craig gave Bad Boy his first number one hit.
Flavor in
Who's
your
to
ear.
say any of us would be sitting here right now? So we
Right.
definitely got to play homage. And I know he definitely was asked to be a part of the tour, but,
doubt.
you know, for religious reasons, he
Right.
declined. And, you know, Craig was dope. He was he was part of the Bad Boy family, and he will forever be remembered.
Yeah.
We wanted Craig. We like, where is Craig?
Yeah.
We all FaceTimed
Yeah.
him, and he was just like, you know, he just couldn't do it. So we just, you know, you had to respect that,
Without question.
pray for him, and love him.
Rest in peace.
Right.
And again, I
Yes.
think with the beauty of Bad Boy is our Motown.
Yeah.
You know, think of like all the great groups of Motown in our age. You know, again, been showing my age a lot this morning. But any event, it's our Camelot. It's
Right,
our
right,
artists. And
right.
you know, again, I mean, I remember when you first came here to do the influential spotlight in the studio, and it was like a little bit younger than me, and they're like, "Oh my God, Kima." And
Right.
that's again, I'm sure you get that all the time.
No, I do,
Yeah.
and that helps me keep going.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all the fans that's out there, and they're like, "Oh, I was in middle school when y'all came
I was in high school.
out.
Like,
I
shut
was
up,
in-
kid, shut up.
I was in high school when I got my first Total album. The white cover with the three
Did
of
you
y'all
steal
in
it or you
black.
brought it?
Huh?
You stole
I
it?
don't steal anything.
Oh.
Don't
And
ever
we
put
were
my
like,
name
your
on
parents
that.
let y'all listen to them
Yeah,
interludes. Them
what? I
things
had
was a
I was
mess.
sitting there spinning that CD. Can't you see? I was like, oh my goodness, yes.
Was you bouncing like
Was
Diddy?
I watching videos, two of them in the videos, dancing? Yes.
Listen, the husband's here. Keep
That's all
watching
right. I'm
out.
being respectful.
We're
Used
talking
to
to
it.
Kima. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna talk about what you're doing now. You burst back on the scene with some music, and we're gonna kind of dive into the game 2018 style. 2018 Kima.
2018.
Again, before I continue, I have to mention this. I want to thank the good people from my church, New Move of God Cathedral, Apostle Brian and her family for coming up. And next Saturday, whether you listen on Facebook, listen on iHeart, wherever you're tuning this in, the New Move of God Church is doing a fundraiser. And again, I say that not just to tell people to give money, but this is a church that's doing some amazing things and wants to continue to do some amazing things within the Bronx community. If you're around, if you just want to stop by, come through. The New Move of God Pentecostal Church, 327 Bolton Avenue, Bronx, New York, 10473. The fundraiser starts at 4 p.m. Rodeo, Be There, 950 Lounge, a bunch of others. And, and if you can't make it, reach out to 950 Lounge's email address at 950lounge1@gmail.com to send a donation. Again, anything is appreciated as we try to keep, our brick and mortar things together. We don't have to look too far at what's going on in our world. So, when there's people who are really looking to help and support us and support the community, we got to support it back. So we hope to see you there. We're chilling. We're talking with Kima, and during the break.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. That's even with the morning. Don't do it too. But don't give him the money maker. Don't give him the money maker. But
I know it's getting real clear now.
yeah, well, we're hitting the noon
It's
hour.
noon
that's
now.
why. But we were talking about today's music and the differentiator between that mid 90s to 90s sound, that that Teddy Riley, that Bad Boy, that even the different even the Neptunes to some extent, that sound. Talk about today's music in comparison. Like again, you have two kids, and I'm sure they love mommy's music, but I'm sure they listen to things that are on the airwaves now.
And I like it. Like, me and my kids have fun listening. I listen to it. I support it. I just feel like, the variety is lacking. I'm like, what happened to R&B?
Right.
Back
Lost.
then,
Right.
we had hip hop, we had R&B. Like, I was just listening to a record. I didn't even really have to think that hard. And I was like, oh, that's sweet.
Right.
Because, artists back in the day, especially a lot of us, we just wanted to be authentic to who we were, our sound. We wasn't trying to mimic anybody. And it wasn't even so much that we were competing.
Right.
Everybody just wanted to make sure that they were putting something different and classic out into the universe. And, I was saying, like, to me, that's the only issue. I don't hear a lot of R&B on the radio anymore. I don't see where a lot of R&B artists are being supported, and we're still out here. We're doing music. We're here. We exist, and we're doing great music. You know, and somebody said on your page, you know, back then people bought music. Yes, I mean we bought music, but even if you just stream it or download it, you know, support. There's other ways to support nowadays. You know, to still keep your R&B artists. I hate this word. Relevant.
Right.
Now, I got a question for you. Have any young artists reached out to Total and said, you know, can you help us out, or is there any advice you could give us as to the music industry?
I mean, we get that all the time, but the one thing we call them millennials, Tiana Teller, she's a big Total fan, and she's definitely has showed us a lot of love and really paid homage to the fact that we've performed with her. So I would have to say yes, you know, and what we tell them is just stay true to yourself. You know, like sometimes people don't get you, and that's because a lot of times we're way before ahead of time. So we were just blessed enough that somebody got us all back then, because our music still exists. Like even Missy and Total, like you can play our records to this day, and people are loving it. The kids are loving it. So they just need to be introduced to it. I say it's whatever you're introduced to. Like it's so the platforms that, you know, are in the position to support us should.
Now, obviously, we from beginning days to now, we've seen the way music is distributed, way it's played has changed. Terrestrial radio's at an all-time low. CBS just sold their stations, and even our partners at iHeart have had some issues in the news. But from a standpoint today, with outlets for, I would say, artists, you know, artists who have been around, I'm not going to say keeping it relevant. I won't use that word. But talk about some of the things and creative measures you and your husband have done to get the music out and get it relevant and heard by audiences. Do the new measures of entertainment.
What I do is, I mean, nobody is too big or too small to interview me or have me on a platform. You know, if somebody reaches out and Kima, I want to, you know, interview you, I'm not like, well, how many followers you got? I mean, you can have one. That's one more added to my list. So, you know, just getting used to the social media. It's really kind of like, it's been hard because everything now is just social media driven, like photo shoots all the time. Like you gotta post twice a day. You gotta go live. And so I guess being creative, what I do is, you know, I just make sure when I'm in the mode of something, like in the car, like up here, I went live. You know, we just make sure we stay humble. We reach out to people. Like I said, nobody is too big or too small to have my audience, and you know, that's how we've been moving this record.
Well, like I said, my brother and all of us stuff, we said it's not about who's watching. It's not about how many's watching. It's who's watching.
Right.
And we always, you know, think of that, because a lot of people say, I got 1 million people. All right, you got 1 million people, but in 1 million people, how many of them doing anything?
Right.
You know? So it's not how many, it's who.
Yep. It's just like when you performing. Everybody want to perform to a sold out audience, but it could be 10 people in that audience, but you never know who it is. So that's why you always put your best foot forward, no matter what. So same thing with this record. I mean, it's different. It's not like the 90s, you know, mainstream radio. It's, you know, not really supporting. Like everybody like, and I had to tell my team this, and it's just like, I deal with reality. Everybody like, oh, you're a legend, you're a Kima from Total, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, but there's still a process to this. And you know, if don't nobody know the process, I know the process. You're not gonna walk in High 97 and that's gonna be the reason why they play my record. So let's get that out of our head. Let's go to the internet radio stations. Let's get this social media thing together, because right now that's where they're pulling their stuff from. So let's tap into that audience. Let's tap into the fans, the real fans, and let it move, let it grow legs.
And trust me when I tell you, working in that industry for many years, the terrestrial brands are trying to find ways to become digital. I was having a conversation with a digital network this week that I still consult, and my thing was, he's like, I want to get FM. Why would you want to go back? That's just like wearing one of Rodeo's old suits. You don't want to go backwards.
Why you gotta emphasize
Because
my
I'm
boy's
joking.
role?
I'm just joking. Because you my brother and I love
I
you.
don't give a damn about that. You know?
But you know, it's the brave new world. You don't go back in time. You know, there's no more of Michael J. Fox movies. You go straight. And again, the way you're putting it out and having conversation with your husband, you guys have a game plan. And again, I respect that because you're doing
Thank
your
you.
media hustle.
Thank you.
With that, I see you got a magazine cover coming out.
Yes, I do. I'm gonna be doing the magazine cover for women. I know Ayo gonna kill me because I'm gonna get the Well magazine.
That's why
Thank
he.
you,
That's why he did.
Can you back up right there?
I actually just did an interview with Hype. I have to submit pictures for a
Right.
possible cover with that. So you know, it's been coming in, and I love it. Like I am such a student to everything. I
Yeah.
think anything that moves too fast ain't right. So I definitely love how my project is progressing. It's starting to grow legs, and I'm gonna work it. I'm a hard worker. I have no problem coming and doing interviews. I'm gonna talk to anybody that want to talk to me, and I'm gonna tell my story.
Well, that's no problem. You always on time.
Yeah.
Always on time.
She got that at a young age
My
going to
mom-
Mount
I mean,
Vernon.
my mom was like, "Look, you gotta be on time." I make him be on time.
Well, okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Move over, Carl. We gotta go.
That's another
Yeah.
show.
That's another show.
We're talking to Kima again, and again, obviously, you got the new music out. What's going on with the show set? I know you guys are talking about putting together a little bit of a tour or getting it out into different spots. How's that coming around?
Well, it's a process. I haven't been booked for anything yet. Not saying I will, and I'm not even really expecting to right now. I know. I remember back in the day, like we went on a whole promo tour, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Right.
I'm out promoting my album. It's not really about the paid gigs at this moment. I
Right.
know I have to get out there and familiarize my audience with
Right.
what it is I'm doing, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Right, as a solo artist.
As a solo
Right.
artist, yep,
Exactly.
outside of Total.
It's
No,
coming. Don't
it's-
worry.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not worried. I'm not worried. God got me.
Without
Exactly.
question.
Good.
Is this your first time as a solo artist?
Yes, it is.
How does it feel?
It feels
How's
good.
it
It's
feel to
very
look-
empowering.
Is it weird when you so used to looking to the left and you got one on your left and you look to your right, you got one on your right, and now you look to your left and your right and it says, this is just me right now. Like,
Well,
wow.
I actually, oh God, I don't want to say this, but
No,
did
say
people?
it.
No.
Say
I
it.
actually bust my cherry performing solo on national TV at Fox 5 in DC.
Okay.
Carlos called me.
I
They
did see
want you
that.
to
Yep,
do. They
yep.
want you to perform. I was really nervous just for that reason because it was the first time I ever performed without
Without the
them. But I
girls.
got through it. I feel empowered because they support.
Right.
They're like, Kima, we want you to win. Outside of the Total thing, we have love for one another. So it was just like great. It's
Them
been empowered
nerves-
because I've known them nerves was
nerves was sky high.
was on what them the nerves
1,000?
was lit. Like
They was lit?
yeah,
Okay.
they were
Okay.
real lit. I
Listen,
was like really nervous.
Beyonce had to go through it, so hey.
Hey, I mean it is what it is.
Off my mark. It's
Yeah.
time for me to sing. So yeah, you ain't got to worry about nobody trying to take your light. Your light is there.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing some
yes,
things.
Yes,
I got a
yes.
question for you.
Go ahead.
Would you ever, did they ever come out and ask you to do like a total movie or autobiography of of your group?
No, not as of yet.
Oh, okay. Would
We
you
trying
be
to get
interested in
through-
doing that? Something
We
like
trying to get everybody to do unsung
Yeah,
first.
trying to
eh?
get.
They're trying to get everybody together. Getting everybody together
of
seems to be the
course.
issue.
Of course. I
Because,
mean,
you see-
open to anything. Like, always open to any opportunity that fits where we are
That's
in
good.
our life. So
We got a few minutes left, Kim, and I can't again thank you enough for coming
I can't
today.
thank you enough for having
It's
me.
been a real pleasure, and again, obviously, I'll talk to your other half on other things that kind of make up the 950 triangle we call it. But before we get you out of here, you've obviously had success, major success in a group, mother, wife,
Yes.
now as a single artist. But what's the next layer? What's the next layer? Give me, if you can close your eyes and say, hey, you know what? What's my next 24 to 36 months going to look like
My
as
next
an artist?
24 to 36 months, what it's going to look like. I'm definitely trying to venture off into TV.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if y'all have not seen my video, y'all need to go to my website and see it, totallykima.com.
We'll put it
It
on our
was
website as
great
well.
getting back behind the camera. So I've really been like looking into doing some reality TV, not like,
You ain't throwing
the
no
ratchet
champagne
Please don't do
bottle.
the
shows.
ratchet. Please
No,
don't
I'm
do the
not.
ratchet. No.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm
like the
not.
family type.
I'm not like the family type.
Mm.
Maybe the housewife type of brands and stuff like that.
Shawnee stuff, huh?
No. Working on a book. I'm gonna have some merchandise going up on my website soon. Fashion is another one of my passions. So y'all may see me doing fashion soon.
Right.
There's a lot. There's a lot that I inspire to do. So.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Kima, we got a studio angel over here. Welcome. Thanks again. And
Thanks
give
for
your
having me.
information. People can find you.
You can find me at Totally Kima on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can go to my website, totallykima.com. What else? Everything is Totally Kima, so I try to keep everything under one brand so it don't make it hard for
And
you
I'll
to
check
find
he's already
me.
plugging that as we speak. His
Totally
fingers are moving.
Kima, yes.
He's good. He's quick
He
on the
got
job.
me, see? Totally Kima, that's all you gotta do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kima. Look out for her. She's back on the hunt. Thank you so much, hon. Appreciate
Thanks
you.
for having me. Love Me Back is available on all digital outlets right now, so make sure you go download it, stream it, whatever floats your boat. Just show your support.
Support good music. It's 9:59. I'm gonna take a quick break. When we keep this on, we got another artist in the building that's doing her thing.
Yo, can I get it in the morning? Every Saturday I be up, no yawning. 950 lounge on